Hi everyone, my name is Bsquiklehausen, and today I'm collaborating with Paradox Interactive to bring you the first part of a three-part series on realistic transit in city skylines. Keep an eye out on the top of the screen for some of the mods I'm using, but they're mostly cosmetic, so you can implement almost everything in this tutorial in the vanilla or console game. If you want a super quick video on just the basics for the vanilla game, definitely check out some Fairlife Milk's tutorial on transit basics at the link in the description. Today we're going to talk low-capacity transit. Transit's a really important part of keeping your city moving and growing, and having a robust bus network is a great way to start. For your lower capacity transit routes, you'll always want to build lines rather than loops. Loops are great for small, dense areas with only a few stops, but lines are a more realistic and more useful building block for your network. Now, obviously, a line needs to start and end somewhere, but it's best practice to make sure that your transit lines actually start and end at places. These could be parks, industrial areas, neighborhood centers, schools, transit hubs, or really any large thing that will help make sure at least some people ride all the way to the end of the line. For low-capacity networks, a hub and spoke system where each route connects a place with the central hub is a very effective design. Building this hub around a high-capacity transit link such as a metro station or a rail station can be extremely effective, since it's likely that people will travel to the hub and then transfer to a higher capacity service. Realistic suburban transit service will often have windy and indirect routes, which aren't really good transit to use, but make sure that a lot of area is covered. This pattern creates something known as a coverage network. Once your city is at a certain size and density, it's a good idea to transition away from a coverage network based on a hub and spoke model to something called a fast grid. This is actually pretty simple. Draw out a rough grid with your bus lines, trying to line up service with the longer, straighter roads in your city. It doesn't have to be perfect, but this system should allow most riders to get from point A to point B with only one transfer and faster than a hub and spoke model. These fast grids are the most effective surface transit method in the game and can scale very well even with larger cities. You can either use custom buses with larger capacities or upgrade your busiest bus lines to trams, which can use even larger vehicles if you need a capacity boost. On your busiest routes though, you can get a massive capacity increase by using roads with dedicated lanes. You can also limit types of traffic using Traffic Manager President Edition on a per lane basis, which can be really handy to convert existing roads to have bus lanes. Even a few blocks of bus-only lanes through a congested area can speed up transit massively. You can also reroute bus lanes to run parallel to your busiest corridors, so they'll still cover most of the same area, but allow much faster bus service. Since the release of the Mass Transit DLC, we have a few more low-capacity network types to talk about, which can be invaluable if you have difficult terrain to traverse. First off is the ferry. These are great ways to get riders over bodies of water, but with boats that serve just 50 people by default and slow turnaround times at docks, you're often better off just spending the money and building a bridge or tunnel. Where those options are impractical though, ferries fill a great niche. Keep in mind that a ferry dock only serves a small coastal area, so connecting it with other transit options is extremely important. The ferry bus hub even does this in a single building. Cable cars are also a pretty good form of low-capacity transit, best suited for traversing difficult terrain. Each car has a low capacity, but the cars run extremely often, which actually makes them a pretty convenient system to use. They're great for linking a high-capacity transit mode over a geographic obstacle, like this one connecting the island here to the light rail line. Blimps are slow and extremely low capacity, but they have no geographical restrictions at all and look super cool floating above your city. As your city develops, you may start to outgrow some of these networks. Increasing the funding for transit, or adding more and larger vehicles to a line with the improved public transit mod, can help put off the need to rebuild everything, but when you get to that point, it's time to invest in high-capacity transit. Stay tuned for tips on that in my next video, and subscribe here to see that video as soon as it comes out. Thanks for watching, I'm Bsquiklehausen, and I hope to see you in the next video.